Tonight's show is brought to you by Mike's Hard Blue Milk. When you've been out on the Twin Suns all day, come home to refreshing Mike's Hard Blue Milk, sold exclusively at Tashi Station. Get a free sample with your next purchase of power converters. I screwed it up. I totally screwed it up. I always screwed
that
up.
was excellent. I like it. No.
I screwed up like 2 words, and that threw me for the rest of it. But yeah, I like that though. I think I should make that a thing. I should make that I should pre-record that so I could use that as a thing. That's a great one. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie podcast. We are already having internet problems. I should call my internet service provider because this is 2 Tuesdays in a row. Now we're having internet issues. And
you should tell them. You like, bitch. Do you know who I am? Do you know what I do on the?
Motherfucker. Do you know who you're talking
no idea exactly because
your internet sucks. I am the exclusive space game guy. I'm the one who's doing it.
I'm the dude.
The only thing holding me back from fame is your shitty internet. So.
Yeah, it's going between on OBS. It's going, but I might have to. I'm gonna call them because I haven't changed anything on my end, and we haven't had these problems until like a couple weeks ago. So I'm gonna call them, unless they're throttling me now. Anyway,
time to clear your cache.
All my caches, like clear everything. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie podcast. Joining me as always is your co-host Jim.
What?
Yeah, and your co-host Hunter.
What's my name again?
Oh God, that song. Jesus Christ, it's what, 1997 all over again. And
maybe you've gone back into the past to get the Avengers.
Didn't they say you don't pronounce it Blink 182? It was like B-Link 1. It was like Blink 182 or something like that. Didn't they say that recently? Like something really stupid like that.
I have no idea. This whole time we've been saying it wrong.
I know, they must be pissed. Folks, Spaz can't join us tonight because he's got some family things to deal with. So we will miss him. But he'll probably be
family things.
Yeah, but he'll be back with me next week because we're doing a morning show next week. Unfortunately. So it'll be great.
You should do it in actual morning show style, like,
Oh God.
With the wowie zowie sound effects.
Like Ruben and the Spaz coming at you in the morning. Morning DJs are the worst people in the world, though. I don't want to be associated.
It's pretty terrible. It's the morning drive to the space.
Traffic on the 210 is terrible. I mean, the 210 in Wisconsin. I don't know where you are. It's just fucking I'll just start looking at traffic at random places.
Hyperspace weather report.
The hyperspace highway is like a pinball, like in, what was that, X Rebirth? Whenever you went on the highway, it's like you're playing pinball.
Oh, God. Yeah. Luckily, they toned that down.
Oh, God. I know. It didn't make the game a lot better, but it made it a little better.
Yeah. I'm still waiting, man. Like, they're still patching X4, and I keep reading the Reddit, and people are like, is it good yet? Is it good yet? Is it good yet? And then people are like, like they'll fix some stuff, but then there's like the litany of bugs. It's like, oh yeah, well my ship still won't dock, and this one, the one that's killing me is whenever you give the manager of your space station, you give him money and tell him to buy stuff, and then he doesn't buy anything, and that's been since launch day, and it's still there, and it's like, okay, I'm waiting on that one.
Wait, that's been there since launch day? And they haven't fixed it? Oh.
Yep. It'll get there, but it's just, it's like you have drones, right, that go out and unload the big ships. Well, you can't get him to buy the drones, so you can't do that. So, yeah, big ships will dock if the drones aren't there. So, things.
So, folks, we have a few pieces of news to get out of the way before we begin. First off, Elite, their April update has gone live, and they now have their romper room area for new pilots. So you
is that like
can
a daycare.
It basically is. It's exactly what it is.
We have to fly in the ball pit for a while.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the kindergarten, basically. It's the daycare for new pilots.
That's nice. So they don't. Is it like it's locked if you're over a certain amount of hours?
I think how it works is you have to get to a certain monetary amount. I think I'm not 100% sure, but there is a threshold.
Oh wait, no, it's
hang on, I can look it up. It
was one of the things, like it's open until you hit a certain rank in one of the profession tracks, I think is what I read.
Oh, yes, exactly it. I just read it. It's when you get your first combat, exploration, or trading rank, that's when you can leave, basically.
Well, that'll be pretty quick.
But they also
never come back then.
I have no idea. But they also have the new advanced docking computer that'll also take you off as well. So shut up. So I thought that too. I almost said the other thing. I almost said the other thing.
Your hammer used to pull you off? He's like, no.
Autopilot, huh? No, shut up. God, stop it. Yeah, it's going to be one of those shows, y'all. Buckle up. Because we don't have a guest. So go ahead.
I don't know. I like the autopilot, and it's just stock on every ship, right?
I think just about every ship now, and I think it has its own slot, so it doesn't take up another internal slot now. I think.
Yeah, and probably if you don't like it, you can yank it out and use the slot.
There's also a Super Cruise Assist module, which will apparently fly Super Cruise for you. Which
now you no longer have to do the loop of shame. It'll
while it does that, I'm just gonna go make me a sandwich, and I'm gonna.
Isn't that what you do? Isn't that what you do? Isn't that what you do when you play Elite anyway? Basically,
no, I just don't even have to be at my computer anymore if it's gonna play.
Eventually, it will be Eve.
Can it mine the rocks for me?
Maybe, maybe.
Yeah, the mining is actually fun now. It's
really?
It's not financially compelling.
Oh,
it's fun.
Well, what is? I mean,
it's the same. Well, it's the same thing as always. Like, there's some stuff I can do. Once you've done it, But it's fun. You can go in, like drive the new feature. All right, I did it. But they just still have not figured out how to put that carrot on the stick. Right. And that's the thing. Hunter and I were talking about this with a friend of mine, Ralph, where all these sandbox games, everything that's a sandbox cannot seem, it's like, okay, a sandbox is not enough because I burn out on that. It's like, oh, we're playing Ark. Okay, well, I've tamed all the dinosaurs and I built a big house and there's really no reason to do anything else. And I'm done.
Well, and that's to that point. It's the same thing in any sandbox that doesn't have anything else beyond trying to survive. The problem that therein lies is once you figure out the formula to survival, which usually takes about maybe 20 to 30 minutes of initial gameplay, once you have conquered that...
Yeah, like Space Engineers is a great example.
That's a perfect example, because once you figure out how to survive in Space Engineers, it's just like, all you're doing then is you're just trying to waste your time finding materials to build stuff, and at that point you're just like, I'm grinding away. Like, just if I want to build something, just go into creative mode. Like, Jesus, why are we doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's why I'm going to bring it up now. Rebel Galaxy Outlaw works so well is because it gives you so many different things to do, and it's all fun. And you don't get bored of it, like some other things.
And to that credit, that's the point that Jim was getting to, which was if you have a sandbox that also has more than just the sandbox going on, so like Rebel Galaxy, but if you look at EVE Online, that game is a sandbox, but yet there's more than just the sandbox element. There's also the NPC mission terminals. Right. There's also the events that they run. There's the live player economy. Like there's more than just, all right, you're in the deep end of the ocean. Figure it out.
Okay, so the way that I would term that, just what occurs to me here, is I would say that games definitely, even sandbox games need some sort of achievement gated content, right? It's like I need to do the thing, and then the game unlocks access to a place that I couldn't be before, right? Something like that. Because like MMOs, right? It's like, well, I can't go to the next zone because it's too hard, so I can't really go over. Well, I could go there, but I'm going to get clobbered, right? So it's gated off by experience level, right? But eventually, like you're overpowered, and then you can like run through the newbie areas and just like kill monsters by looking at them, and it's great. And unfortunately, and that's the thing where Elder Scrolls Online blew it, because they have the leveling in there. So like, hey, you're level 50, I'm level 1, we get in a party together, and the monster is about the same difficulty to both of us. So you could take me to end game content in that game, and I'm not gonna like prosper greatly on my own, but I'm not instant dead either, right? But then you get games that are the opposite, like the Division, where Hunter's like 2 levels over me, which means all the monsters get harder because they scale to him, and then I'm instantly dead, so I can't play with him. So it's a weird fine line, right? But I think it's interesting though if they do gate off things somehow, and if you have NPCs like factions, then maybe your faction rep does that. It's like, well, here's the point where I have to do quests. I have to make these NPCs happy, or I have to do the thing that allows them to open the Stargate, and then I can go through it. Whatever, right? And I think Elite, it's like, here's 1 billion solar systems. There's like 5 that you're restricted that you can't go to, but everything else is wide open, and there's nowhere that's too hard, right? It's like there's no system you look at on the map and you're like, oh hell, I'm not going there because I'll get killed. Like the minute I come out of hyperspace, I'm dead. I ain't going there. I gotta get tougher before I do that.
I think so far I think the games that do this best are like more limited games, like 3030 Death War does a wonderful job with this sort of thing.
That game does everything very well.
And again, Rebel Galaxy Outlaw does a wonderful job, because you can't like leave the system until you are competent enough to be able to buy a jump drive. So
that's neat. So they're doing it like privateer.
There is so much privateer in its DNA that it's gonna be wonderful. I just can't stop thinking about it, gushing about it. I'm just telling you now. Most games I can only stand to play for maybe 5 to 10 hours. I'm like 40 in this one.
Are you playing it with all the old man assists?
No. There's gonna be I think 3 or 4 difficulty levels, and I'm playing the second one. It's called Veteran, and it has the auto follow, but the auto follow thing, all it does, it's like an enhanced match speed. All it does is match speed, and keep the ship on the screen. It doesn't aim or fire for you. Right. So you still got to do that.
It'll be interesting, hopefully.
But you can turn that off too.
Before it's out. Hopefully before it's out, you get the chance that you can test, like, okay, this is what it's like with a mouse and keyboard.
I'm sure I will. Yet. Yeah, I cannot. I've been asked just right now to use the gamepad, and it is wonderful with a gamepad. It is primarily designed for the gamepad. It'll support all those other things, but I've not been asked to test them yet.
Have they said it's coming out on consoles?
It's coming out on the PS4 and the Switch, not at the same time though.
No, I'm shocked that it's not coming out on the Xbox too.
I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Well, I got a thought about that, because it's Xbox and cross-platform with PC, and it might be stepping in the exclusivity with the Microsoft Store, maybe.
Oh,
which leads us to tonight's topic.
Oh, but yeah, I'm sure this game will come up with tonight's topic as well.
I was going to mention another bit of news. I don't know if you have this written down there, Brian.
Go ahead.
So Star Citizen hit their 3.5 update. Well, their 3.51 update went live for everybody who has access. And so I saw some people posting some videos and some live streams about it. And I told Jim, and I said, Jim, I don't understand how this game looks so smooth on some of these other people's streams. Because anytime I've ever tried to play it, and I don't have a shitty computer, right? I don't understand how their gameplay is so smooth. And I was like, well, maybe it's because of this 3.5 update. So I updated my client and I jumped in. And to my surprise, it still wasn't as good as the people that I was seeing doing it. However, it's the best I have ever experienced it. To the point, while using mouse and keyboard controls, I was actually able to get into my ship, like hyperspace fly over to a different part of the star system and land on a different space station in an asteroid field. Get out and go walk around over there. Now, I've come to the conclusion that in its current form, in order to play this game, you need to have it installed on an SSD, a good one, and have a really good graphics card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
sense.
I have a really great processor. I have crap tons of RAM. I have an SSD, and I have a pretty decent graphics card. And even with like settings and stuff turned down, it was still kind of a little jumpy for me. But it is the best it's been ever. Now, that's not me being an advocate for it. I'm just saying I was surprised.
So did you fly to Coruscant and land in the city?
I have not done that yet. I need to check that portion out. I'm really kind of curious to see, because they have this new city place that you can go to that's supposed to be pretty stellar. So
yeah, I've watched people play that, and it's like, hey, I'm going to fly in there and I'm going to land on this building, and then you can run around in the building, and then you see the monorail train that runs through the city, and it's like cyberpunk as hell, right? I love how that city is. It's like straight up Blade Runner shit.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see like where they have like the giant hologram ads in the street and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so it's like, wow, okay, so this gets it visually. That's
well, it gets. I think Star Citizen has always gotten it visually, but the execution of being able to enjoy the visuals in like a real and like 3D environment to run around in hasn't always been hasn't been good. But I
think that culling stuff that they built in really did a lot for them, like in that last build.
Sure.
Because before they were loading every asset in the game into RAM, and not just what was necessary.
And it used to take the game forever to load too. I was also shocked at how quickly the loading speeds were this time around. Like it was shockingly. Now, having said all of that, I used to be pretty harsh on this and pretty pissed. I have loosened my reins on it, but I'm still holding out reservations on it. I'm not convinced it's still gonna ever come out.
Yeah, no.
Right now, everything is still just like this is a tech demo that just keeps getting bigger.
Have they said anything about Squadron 42?
They sent out
not in a year.
Okay, no, they said that thing looked very focused last time. Like
they sent out a mail about it, a mailing about it like a month ago, calling it the Squadron 42 update, but there was nothing in it.
Right, there was nothing. Like what I'm saying, like the only thing that the only thing officially like new that they talked about that I remember the most of was the biggest news that has come out from that is they've split it up into two separate like entities. There's going to be the Star Citizen as a game, and then Squadron 42 as a game, and they're separate development cycles. They're separate development stuff. So
yeah, it just looked like the Squadron 42 stuff, because they could focus on, okay, this is the limited set of things that are going to be here, so we only have to do this. So they weren't trying to do like all the things. So it seemed like that game jumped ahead in development last time I saw it. But maybe things have refactored into like, okay, we're doing all the things, because
it did jump ahead in development, but not by like a lot. What you're seeing though is more behind the scenes cutscene type stuff that they've built.
Okay.
So anyway, that's the news that I wanted to share on that.
All right, we got a couple more things. Out of Space, the new game from the Galaxy of Pen and Paper, those folks, is out.
I thought that was about my hard drive.
It's a local only multiplayer, which is kind of sad. Local only multiplayer game where you're all on a spaceship and you have to manage the spaceship. It looks fun. I've not played it yet, but I hope to soon. So that's out, and those guys make good games. That's why I'm mentioning it. A couple. I usually don't mention we usually don't talk about mobile games, but a couple of PC games that we've liked around here have gone to mobile. Nomads of the Fallen Star is coming to mobile, which is great because that's a great game. And Solar Settlers recently hit mobile. If you guys haven't played Solar Settlers, that game's freaking fantastic. Like freaking fantastic. Seriously. And finally, the folks at the
you guys have phones, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't play games on the damn thing.
I'm sorry, I had to.
God, I'm so tired. I get that now. Y'all have phones, right? Screw you, Blizzard. Yeah, I get it now. And finally, the folks at the Wing Commander CIC, which is like one of the oldest sites still around, they've launched like a weekly informal thing called All Wings Considered.
I
don't get it.
I'll give that a wink.
There's an NPR show called All Things Considered that's been on for like 40 years. Yeah, I know. You do get it. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a podcast because it's only on video, and it's even less formal than our thing right now. So it's really well done. Like they have their video in like a privateer buy and sell window, which is really nifty in their overlay. I'm like, how'd they do that? I want to do that. I want to steal that. So yeah, that's the neat thing. They already have like 7 episodes up, and they're really silly, but they talk about like Privateer 2 ship of the week and random crap like that. So if you're really into Wing Commander, it's worth checking out. Because there's a lot of Wing Commander stuff to talk about, beyond the movie, of course. So that's the news. So, what?
Actually, I showed somebody Hard of Hearing Vader the other day who had never seen it before.
Does not get old.
No.
You know what other video doesn't get old that we've been watching for years that just resurfaced for some reason? The count where every time he says count is bleeped, so it sounds like he's saying fuck.
Yeah, so the unnecessarily censored count.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. It's like, folks, if you all haven't seen that, just go find it right now as you're hearing the sound of my voice. It is the funniest thing. Oh my god. So
hey man, what's the deal? The stream is only showing you and G. That's funny.
What?
Name's not even there.
Well, you're there in Discord.
Overlay?
Yeah, the overlay is only showing
Jim.
Jim.
Overlay.
No,
I'm just a ghost in the system.
No, that is really strange. That shouldn't be happening at all. Oh,
we'll see what happens.
No, you're there now. What happened?
I left and came back into the room.
That's so weird. Weird internet. I have to call my ISP, I think. This is getting out of hand. So we have a topic tonight, folks, because we don't have a guest. And I've been, my brain hasn't been working very well, so I didn't think very hard about this topic. But it's been so contentious lately that I figured we should talk about it. And I'm talking about the recent launch of the Epic Games Store and all the exclusives they've been taking away from Steam. And how some people are happy about it, some people are very angry about it, and some people don't give a shit.
Well, I'll I'll throw this out here to get it started.
Go for it, man.
More options are always better, in my opinion. When you have, when you give people not necessarily more options, but when you give people more choice, because that's where you see like a real economy come into play. People can pick and choose where they want to, do their business at, and sellers of items as well have the choice of choosing where they want to sell their products at. However, the thing about the Epic Store that I think for some people, at least for me specifically, that is such a problem isn't that they're a store selling video games, because I could care less about another store being out there. It's great. There's another place to go buy games. Cool, whatever. The problem is their exclusivity deals that they're tying to these developers of, we'll take, we'll let you keep more of your money, but you have to only exclusively sell on us for X amount of time. I think that bargain is really shitty.
Yeah.
Well, what I find really funny about that, though, is then Tim last week was like, but if Steam decides that they're going to bring their share, from like a 70-30 split, if they give the developer, what is it, like 88%, so they go down to like a 12% cut or whatever, then they'll just drop all their exclusives. Right, they'll like release everything that's exclusive and just end the whole shebang, and so it's like, well, it's in your court now account. So they actually have like a delivery guy come out to the house and pick up the money. As like, that's not free. There's a lot of payment processing stuff in other countries that costs like way more than like a couple percent, right? So it's like Valve just eats that no matter where you're at. So, and honestly, the countries that have the higher processing fees also have the games cheaper because they're like lower income countries, right? So you're already kind of like in the second, third world area. And then, so it's like the conversion, instead of the dollar, you convert into, I don't know, whatever kind of Zenny coins they got in whatever country, right? But it's in American dollars, it could be much cheaper. And that's why, and personally, I don't agree with that. I think as a person selling something, that it's like, if it's $1 here, it should be $1 there, or whatever a dollar is worth over there at the exchange rate, right? Because me as the developer, if my game's $1, I want $1. I don't want 10 cents from somebody just because of where they live, right? But that's another argument. But it's the thing of Epic passes those fees through to the developer, right? So whatever it costs for PayPal or Subway cards or whatever the hell you're using in your country, that passes straight through the developer. But Steam eats it. Steam also handles like the community stuff that Epic doesn't have. Maybe it's a good thing that Epic is dodging. It's like, well, there's no requirement that they have a community portal thing. It's like, do we need that? We got Discord, we got Steam forums, we got maybe I'm happy that's not there, right? Because then you got to moderate that crap, and it's like, that's all you need is people in there being toxic in your stuff, and then people got something else to bitch about. So just don't have it. That's fine. People can satisfy that outside. But there are features that Steam does provide that are to the developer that Epic just ain't got. So that's a thing I would like to see tightened up, especially while they're working 100-hour weeks on Fortnite. Maybe they could spend a couple hours on fixing up the store.
Well, and you brought up a really interesting point, Jim, about Valve / to kind of like develop into and include in.
Yeah, but the workshop is a huge thing. Like for people that are mod savvy, huge. And
right.
Nobody's even really brought that into the discussion, with Epic. It's like, hey man, where's our mod?
So there's a lot that Steam offers. Now, I'm not going to get into the debate on the toxicity of Steam reviews and the review bombing and all that other stuff. That's a huge different discussion, and maybe it needs to be brought up. I don't know. When you think of it in terms of, you know, the practice, like the best practice kind of things of like what Epic is doing versus what Valve is doing. You know, what Valve is doing, is Valve doing something that is honestly bad? Is it a horrible thing? Are they being horrible overlords? Like, that's the thing that I'm trying to understand. Are they really bad to do business with? And if so, let's talk about that. Like,
Yeah, well, I look in intangibles, right? Like, if I'm giving you 30% instead of 15%, right? So what does that extra 15% get me? And how much would I pay otherwise? And if you're passing the fees through to me, that 30 versus 15% split is perhaps not, depending on the price of my product, right? So yeah. And what about selling a game that they're not even in this territory yet because all their games are premium priced, right? But what about like the $4 game, the $2 game, but the credit card processing fee costs more than the game? Valve eats it, right? They lose money on that shit. So how's that going to work for the developer if it passes through? They're going to lose money on every sale. No developer is going to do that.
so somebody in the comments mentioned, uh, talk about the FAQ on Rebel Galaxy Outlaws website about why they're going exclusive. So I have not read this. Do any of you guys know what's up with that?
I'm loading it now. Hang on.
Something $1 million. I don't know. Yeah, what was there was one, somebody actually disclosed the amount of money. I forget which game it was, but it was like 2 cold cash, bang, to be exclusive. And I was like, oh, well, that's respectable. It was not Rebel Galaxy, it was something else.
I'm not seeing I gotta find this. I'm not seeing anything about the Epic Store.
Yeah, whoever that is in the audience, if you could link where you saw that, because I'm.
Oh, I found it.
Oh, so what does it say?
Okay, here's probably the big question. Exclusives are anti-consumer. Why would you do this? Parentheses, you monster. The answer. Okay, so that's a little complicated, and our answer is long-winded, so bear with us. Before Valve and the 70-30 split, it was pretty darn rough to be an indie, parentheses, both in terms of royalty share and in terms of the ability to sell things without a publisher, parentheses. We can all thank Valve for using their leverage to make that happen and usher in the era we have now. We think it's safe to say that a large percentage of the games made today wouldn't exist without it. Epic is using their leverage to push that even farther to 88/12. That's another whole strata of developers who can survive. Question, would you like that to become the new standard? Yes. Question, can that be done without leverage? Answer, no. Question, is some form of exclusive content required to get the momentum to make that happen? Answer, yes. And we're willing to get on board to make that happen.
See, here's okay. Let's talk about that for a second. I am not opposed to the smaller companies getting more for what they're trying to work with, especially being smaller. And I do think it is quite silly that Valve came out with a restructured percentage break based on number of sales. So if you've sold X amount of copies, we take less of a cut. And I thought that was kind of weird. Like,
I think that's insulting, because at that point it's like, if big boys get more, well, no shit. Like, we're already big, So, help the guy that needs a
Right. No, that's exactly the thing that I was thinking about too. Is it is insulting to them. So it kind of made me wonder. But then again, let's go back to this again. Leverage against something like Steam. I don't really see it happening unless something major happens. And something super major would have to happen.
Would you call Borderlands 3 something major?
No. That is a single game. You look at what Valve is making annually with with the game sales, the cut of the game sales that it gets off of Steam, with all of the Dota 2 nonsense, with all of the Counter-Strike nonsense. Like you look at all of that stuff, and I don't see one or two games singularly being the clutch that takes it over the edge. Yes, Epic is getting some exclusives for a short period of time, and the developers may choose to also sell on Valve. But I don't think that that's enough of a driving point. And here's why. Because we've had 3 Borderlands games to this point. And having a 4th Borderlands game in the entry of Borderlands games is kind of like I haven't even played through all of 1 or 2 by themselves yet, and I have the pre-sequel, and I have yet to touch it myself. So it's like, for someone as a gamer like me who has so many games and I love playing games, but I don't always get to play all the games that I have, that exclusivity over on Epic Store is just kind of like, well, I haven't even played these other ones, so there's no reason to go buy it over there yet anyway. But that also brings up a different point entirely. When you look at where a game has been traditionally sold by a series of developers, and all of a sudden you see it switch to a new store, you're splitting up where people have bought their games in a collection, so to speak.
Oh, do you mean like Dead Space 1 and 2 and then Dead Space 3 over on Origin, or
no. Let me explain that. So that is similar but slightly different. So the fact that you had all of these games being sold on one platform, and then all of a sudden they get sold on another platform, I give leeway in the example of EA owns Origin, EA owns Mass Effect, EA has opened up Origin as its own store, therefore they want to sell their first-party game on their own store. It would be like Blizzard was selling StarCraft over on Steam, and then they came out with Battle.net app, and they decided to release StarCraft 2 on Battle.net and not release it over there because they have their own platform that they've developed for themselves. So if Gearbox was to come out with their own platform and decided to say that they wanted to sell Borderlands 3 on there instead of anywhere else, I would understand, because they would have complete control over that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
not like Blizzard is, because
the contract in place that says you can only sell on us for a full year first, and then you can go and sell it wherever you want, is bullshit. Steam doesn't even require that. Steam only requires that if you are going to sell it somewhere else, you sell it at a comparable price.
Well, here's another thing with Steam, right? Is we haven't even talked about the key reseller market, where you can go on Humble Bundle and just sell Steam keys, and Steam doesn't get a dime of that, right? So maybe that's part of their 70-30 split too, right? They got to make up for that.
Well, that is something that's something that people don't really talk about. That's a huge thing to mention.
Yeah, because it's like you can't, as a developer, go on Epic and be like, yeah, give me 1,000 Epic keys. I need to spread these around some bundle sites. Nope.
Well, and here's the thing. Someone said, like, in the comments there, you just wait 12 months and then you can buy it on Steam. But there's no guarantee that they're actually going to release on Steam in a year anyway. They just have an agreement with Epic that says they can't for a year. That doesn't mean that they're going to.
I wonder at what point who's going to be the first developer that tries to get loose of the contract because they realize that their return from the front money is not, it's like, okay, yeah, we got like a couple $100,000 up front to go exclusive, and that sounded really good, but now we've sold 10 games because that community backlash is real or something. I heard, see, with the Satisfactory guys at Coffee Stain, I never know if they're joking or not, right? But they went on like this rant about piracy and about how their sales are jacked, and they were like, yeah, we had to do some refunds, so now we're down to like 10, that we've sold. It's like, okay, I know you're kidding there, but is it like, is that sentiment actually like you're kind of feeling a burn, like, wow, we really didn't sell what we expected, or not? But they're still developing the game, so whatever. But it's like, yeah, I wish that there was some straight talk about that, because I would like to hear it. But I'm wondering, like, at some point, some developer is going to be like, we have fucked up and we're going to go out of business if we stick in this exclusivity deal. So we got to get the hell out of here. It's life or death. So we have to like back out or something. That's when the rubber is going to hit the road.
Yeah, but to answer your big initial question, Brian, like, I just don't see a singular game or even a small collection of games making the difference. And I know the old like saying is just like, well, someone who's gonna deplatform Steam. I don't think anybody's gonna deplatform Steam until somebody does something drastically different than Steam. Not just be a competing store, not just offer different deals for the developers selling, but they have to offer something else on their platform that's going to be enticing to bring people over to them. Because right now everybody's friends lists are on Steam. Everybody's like game collections and hours are calculated on Steam. Everybody's achievements and medals are all like, there's so much stuff that people have utilized Steam for. Now I know it's not the end all be all, but even Steam saw, or Valve saw, the issues with Discord, and seeing that Discord has their store, they have a better chat system, a better VoIP system, a video system, and so they've been trying to implement that on their platform. And Steam also has Steam streaming now, and like they're trying to do more with that. So like Steam's trying to be the one all-stop shop, as where Epic's just a competing storefront for trying to get exclusive deals to sell there first.
Right. And since you bring up Discord, the Epic store is not so different from the Discord store, is it? It's just like, it's a store. That's it. It's just like, click the game, buy the game. I can launch it from Discord. I haven't bought a single game in Discord.
No, nope, neither have I.
I haven't bought a game from Twitch either. Why would I? I don't need yet another launcher. I'll buy that wherever else it's at the same price. But if it was over, the thing, instead of an exclusive thing, what if the game was just permanently 15% cheaper, right? It's like, comes out on Steam, comes out on the Epic Store. Epic Store gives everybody 15% back, right? It's like, yeah, we sell the game at the same price because the developer has to sell the game at the same price. But then out of our pocket, we give you a 15% coupon on every game. Pow. And would that be enough to swing sales? Because it's like, wow, I get 15% off of a $50 game. That's $7. Well, maybe, and then people can vote with their dollar. Hey, man, if it's worth $7 to have it over on Steam, just do it that way. All right. Maybe people wouldn't bitch so hard, but we'll hit this later, right? Because this is a rabbit hole, right? So let me just say it. But it's the outrage culture that goes on in games media and social media and whatnot. It's the addiction. Like, I get up this morning and I have to create content, and I have a channel that's like critical, right? I'm like pessimisticgamer.com. So I have to video of the day bitch about some scandal, right? And the whole Epic thing, just it has fed that, because every time a game gets announced on there, that gives you a couple of days of bitch content, right? So those people have made the most out of it. But I found whenever I went through my like 500 channels that I was subbed to on YouTube, the people that were posting the most frequent updates were the people that were doing the most low effort stuff. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, look at this thing. You know, every day I got a new video. Sometimes 3 videos a day. If you're that guy, you know who I'm talking about. And it's you do. I know you do. Quartering, but you know, it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. So I went down the list and I was just like, does this channel actually add anything to my life? Nope, unsub. And man, I unsubbed out of like 250 out of 300 channels. I pared it way down.
Wow.
And you know what? When I don't consume that bullshit, when I don't like open up YouTube, hey, what's going on in games today? Oh my God, a wall of outrage again today. What's the new thing? Oh, Mortal Kombat. No, they're covering up the boobs. Oh shit, let's riot. I just don't care. You know?
Yeah. There's a lot of the outrage culture is definitely something that in this topic of game stores has definitely crept into as well. And
how much of a problem is it really? If all those people shut up.
Right. Well, that's what like Fermian even brings up here in our Discord chat, in the stream chat on Discord here, and he talks about, you know, people talking about, oh man, another game launcher. And, you know, it's just like, remember the time before Steam when you had all of these different games and you had to have like 30,000 icons on your desktop for the different games?
Remember when you had to fish the fucking DVD out of the drawer?
Right. Oh man, you know, you have it so much easier. You have literally 5 different game launchers. You're fine. You know, like another game store, another launcher has never been an issue to me, because that shit just sits in the background anyways and I don't really have to listen to it. Right?
I don't even have them running
at me because there's an update. You know, like, or you don't even have to have them running, but like, you know, again,
I have Steam running, but that's it. Yeah, that's it. I don't
again, I don't have a shit PC, so I can just let that shit run in the background and not bother me. You know, I've got like 4 VMs running on this thing too. I can let all of it run in the background and it doesn't bother me. But like, you know, I know that not everybody has a beefy computer, so I can't just be like, oh, look at you over there with your nice computer. Like, even a decent computer, you know, a $400, $500 budget build PC with a solid state hard drive is going to do just fine. Another game launcher isn't the issue, and it shouldn't be the issue.
Yeah. By the way, Brian, is he roboting for you, or is it just me?
Nope, it's just you.
Okay, it's just me. Don't worry about
it. I've restart. I apologize, folks. I've restarted the stream like 3 times because I've lowered my bit rate in the hopes that it'll make things more stable, and it seems to actually have. So, I wonder if I was trying to push too much through the pipe. You know what I mean?
And Iceberg here on stream brought up another great point. You know, this Discord store doesn't really exist anymore because now developers can sell directly via their channel, as he puts it, to their super fans, which is also so. It's a really interesting like economy to be in, but I just think Tim Sweeney is trying to use that Fortnite money to flex. And, you know, they're not hurting for cash either with all the Fortnite cash going. But seriously, Epic needs to do something serious, because how many security breaches has Epic had over the last 5 years alone?
I think what was their big news recent? What was their big news recently? Hey, we're adding 2-factor authentication. Good job, guys. Welcome to 2011. That's great. Well done. Well done.
So here's the thing, right? Is we spent a lot of time this last week talking to Ralph, and he had this this site, Ralph, a friend of mine that I've known since I was a kid.
Okay.
It was like from the ye old BBS days, right? 300 baud. Like Ralph and I, we lived in the same town, but we didn't know each other. But we had met because we used to walk like that 2 miles uphill in the snow both ways, opposite directions, to the Dairy Mart to play Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Like Yeah, so I knew him from seeing him in there, but I never really talked to him. And then, like, years later, we ended up like working together at the little mom and pop ISP. Anyway, so there's this website. I forget what the hell the name of it was. It was like decryptme.com or something. But it's you can go there and sign up for free, and you can look and see. You know, they obtain all these hacked databases of accounts. Right, and they got like bajillions of them. If you like go in the free tier, it'll tell you, yeah, you're in the list, right? Whatever you search for, it was here. If you pay money, it's like $3 for a week or $11 for a month, or they got a yearly thing or whatever. It's very interesting though. So you can go in there and actually search with non-obfuscated results. So what that is basically I could go in there and put your email address in, and it'll cough your password up. Right, because I can just say, yeah, I'm Brian.
Because it's got all of the database breaches and with all the details in there.
Yeah. So the thing is, when he makes passwords up, he uses a random generator, right? And then he keeps a spreadsheet of, okay, this password was on this site, and then when he goes in there and he searches all of those, and they're like wicked passwords, right? I mean, it's like 20 characters long with it, you know, like all the special shit and whatever. And whenever he goes in there and actually searches, hey, let me see this crazy ass random password. Bang, there it is. Oh, well, I look on my spreadsheet. Where was that? Oh, that was in the Epic store. So it's like, it's proof. Like, there is no doubt that this password came out of the Epic store, because that's the only place it would exist, and it's like 20 digits long, right? So, you know, yeah. So there you go. But he said that he's had like 2 of them at least that popped in there, God. So he knows like twice that he got, yeah, like their thing. But it's like, do they disclose that they did? Do they say, oh yeah, we had a little security thing, or do they actually have to say?
They have in the past. Like I've gotten emails from them like, come to the Epic store and log back in and change your password, you know, and like I've gone to like epic.com and it's just like try to log in, they're like, your password has been reset, here, make a new one. We had a security breach, sorry about that. But they don't go into any details.
Yeah, well, I had like I used to get email notifications from them, and finally I just locked the account. Because it was like attempted login, and it's like, man, somebody, and this is before they even had a store. It was just nothing but Fortnite. What the hell is the point of hacking my free game account? It's not like you're gonna get shit out of my Fortnite account. But yeah, I just had an account there so that I could download Unreal Engine and mess around with it, and it was just like constant. That, you know, and I can imagine now that they got a store, like the amount of security barrage that they're under. That's probably got to be crazy.
Yeah, you'd think they'd shore that stuff up before even opening a store where you can make monetary transactions.
There's a lot of things that were going on with that store that was bad. Like it's way better than it was, but when they first launched it, it was like tissue paper of a store. And it's getting better. But it ain't getting better at the rate that you would expect.
No, I mean, if you think back to Steam in its early days, it wasn't really great in terms of usability either. And in some ways, it's still not. But
that's the weird thing that people love to continue to compare. It's like, well, when Steam first launched, nobody liked it. I'm like, okay.
I'm just saying it's a 1.0. So you look at other stores when they were at 1.0,
but it's not a 1.0.
Well,
like the store is. I mean, their launcher
Steam already learned all the lessons in life. Like they've been down that road, and now it's common knowledge to everybody that's a web developer. Oh yeah, here's like 10 years of pain over at Steam, or however long they've been around, 15 years now. Here's like all the times that they fell down. Well, don't do those things. You know, it's like we need to like come in at that level, not where they were 15 years ago.
Also, the Epic launcher installing that thing that reads your Steam account, like your friends list.
Yeah, that was weird.
So, but only if you enabled it. And I'm just like, well, I never saw an option. Like, I didn't see.
There's also a weird thing where they've been giving away free games, and they claim their games are DRM free. Like apparently, you get Subnautica or whatever. But apparently someone, when they uninstalled the Epic Game Store, it also uninstalled Subnautica. So it's like,
well,
what?
there's a other thing about that too, is the piracy angle of it, because Steam is trivial to crack, right?
Really?
You replace the DLL. Yeah. It's
That's
really
it?
easy. There's an app that's out there, and
What?
you can run that app against a Steam application, and it'll just make a launcher for it. And then you just use the launcher forevermore, and it masquerades as Steam running. So when the application says, "Hey Steam, am I authorized? Do I own this?" Then the fake thing says, "Yep, I'm Steam.
What?
You got it."
Oh,
And
God.
yeah, totally. What? But it's like it's worse with the Epic Store thing, because you download Unreal Tournament, which is free, and then you can rename the game's executable to Unreal Tournament, and then you launch it, and it says, "Oh yeah, you own Unreal Tournament." Pow, fires up the game every time. So maybe they fixed that by now, but I screwed around with it whenever the store first came out, and I was like, "Oh shit."
Oh geez. I mean,
Yeah.
I would hope they would have that. I mean, yeah.
Let's just say there's a subreddit that you could go to.
Of course there is.
That will tell you all the things.
You can say that about anything. There's a subreddit for that. I mean,
I wonder if there's a subreddit for XKCD, because then it would be like Inception. It would be like everything about everything.
I can't imagine there isn't. I mean, XKC, it's popular, so there's got to be it's got to be a subreddit about it, right? Yeah, apparently I didn't know this either. They're talking on Twitch about how Steam does have DRM free games, which I didn't know that.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Apparently there's a list.
You just have to experiment. You go in and try to launch the game without Steam running, see what happens. You know what pisses me off though is there's some games that are online only that do not need to be online only. Flat Space, right? That 2D,
yeah,
like like 30-30 Death War kind of game, right? It's a 2D top down space thing.
Yeah,
you can't play it offline. It's like everything else. If I go offline in Steam, you just offline mode. It's like, okay, the game's installed. You've authenticated once. We know you own it. Okay, go into offline mode, and then you can play it like without an internet connection. Not that game. And it's like, dude, this is like a little like 2-bit indie, totally not popular game that maybe 3 people have heard of. And you can't play it offline because it's like, oh, got to be online. That's our DRM. It's like, bro, are you really that worried that somebody's going to pirate your game? It's unfortunate because there's times when I want to play stuff and I'm offline. Can't do it. That's how I found out. I installed it on my laptop and I was somewhere that there was no internet. And I'm like, I'm going to play some Flat Space. So shit goes both ways.
That is a little weird because, I mean, there's nothing online at all about that game.
Not a bit. Like, except for the DRM.
Like, I mean, some games, like, I guess I'm going to mention Warhammer Martyr, that's online only. But that, like, syncs with a server to generate missions and keep track of all your shit. So I guess I get that.
This would be like fire up Solitaire in Windows. And it's like, oh, I can't do that. You're not on the internet.
Oh my
God.
God.
Like, dude, it's solid.
You can't play Windows. You can't play Windows Pinball. That space pinball game because it's online only. Like, what? Why do I need to be online only for this? Yeah, that is weird. I'm not a fan of that generally. Like, games as a service is... I mean, it works when it works. Like, Wildlands, The Division. It works when it works, but it's not something I'm hugely a fan of. But not every game needs it. Like you said, like Flat Space. Like, what? Why? That's like... that would be like, again, making 30-30 Death War online only. Like, why would you do that?
Exactly.
There's nothing online at all about that. Did we lose Hunter? We lost Hunter. Oh my God.
I don't know.
We just lost him. No, we did. He's
well, it's
gone.
like I can barely hear you over the robotness. Can you
really?
flip the server? Yeah.
Hang on, I'll flip the server. Let's try that. Hopefully that works better.
Sounds better.
I don't know what's going.
Took a shit.
Oh, so it's not just me. Well, that's good to know. I was worried it was just me. But
well, you guys sound a lot better though.
Yeah, I just switched servers, but I mean, apparently. Oh, Fermion says this is going to be a fun podcast for you to edit. Oh, you're adorable. Edit.
Edit. What?
I don't even know what that word means. Edit. I don't
Fermion,
edit
you
things.
want a job?
I think Fermion just volunteered to be the editor.
Oh God, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I'm sorry.
You know, funny thing about that, right? Is I was watching one of Zul'jin's FOD talks today, and it's a little bit older, but he tried a thing on his channel where he used to just export, like he'd do a live Twitch stream and he would just export that straight out right to YouTube. Mm-hmm. And then he said he decided he was going to try another format because, you know, it's like an hour-long show or whatever. So let me actually edit all the dead space out and just get it to the fun stuff, right? And he said like his view time stuff dropped by like 70% overnight.
Holy shit.
Like, it was bad. Yeah. And he's like, whoa, okay, going back to the long format. Never mind. So, yeah. So that's the power of editing.
So, to go back to our store discussion, I think really with the Epic thing versus Steam, my only beef is I just wish that instead of trying to strong arm the developer to commit to an exclusivity deal, if you're truly offering a better deal in general, and if you think that you really do have the better deal for the developer, then why do you need to make your shit exclusive to them? Let the people make a choice. Let the consumers make the choice and see if and let the developer make a choice if he's going to stay on there or not. Because if the developer feels that they have the better game and they want their game to be on the Epic Store because they feel like they're going to get more for what they've made, then let the free market decide instead of cutting all these exclusivity deals. That's I think really what it boils down to for me. Because if a developer chooses willy-nilly to just do that, fine. But like to sign an exclusivity deal, that's when I start going, why did you do that?
Yeah. So other thing about this, right? Like whenever you're in Steam and you put your payment information in, there's a box you can opt in for it to save your credit card or whatever. It's the opposite with Epic. You have to opt out. Otherwise, it will keep it. Because I went in there and I noticed it's like, oh, wait, it's still got my PayPal shit. What happened? Like, oh. And that made me a little nervous because there's security issues, right? So it was like, all right, well, let me put on two-factor and tear my damn payment info out of there anyway and all this stuff, right? So, because if they lose the database and still got my payment info, I don't like that. But yeah, it's just basically that stuff. But like what Hunter was saying though about like, well, you know, let them put the game where they want, and if the sales are better for them on one platform or the other, if they want to make their game exclusive or whatever, sure. I think that the actual strategy though, coming from Epic, is they're like, okay, there was so much initial resistance to stuff coming on their store that they decided to say, okay, there's no such thing as bad attention. You can get like negative press or positive press, but you're still getting press. And also, whenever we come in here and like disrupt the market, right? If we lock games onto the platform, we're going to do this with some games that people already have a lot of wish list hype for. And that means like these are people that are committed, like they're customers that we know are hot for this game, and now we're going to bring it to our platform, and then we'll get. The cat just fell. Cat just,
is that what that was?
Bed. Yeah.
Is that what that was? That sounded hilarious and sad at the same time.
Yeah, the cat was like bonk and fell, and then Jones cracking up. Cat's fine.
Well, yeah. I don't know, man. Like this whole. Anyway, go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Anyway, I'm trying to figure out. cat problem here. Anyways, yeah. So, but the deal is like, hey, you know what? If we put like Satisfactory, which is a game a lot of people were hot for, or whatever that Metro thing, right? Metro 2033, whatever that is, or like name some other game that went exclusive on there, or for us, specific to our audience, frickin' Rebel Galaxy is like, who here's not going to buy that because it's on that store, right? So it's like, okay, we're already locked in.
Unfortunately, I have talked to some people who are like, oh, I'll buy it in a year. I'm like, why not just buy it now?
And that's fine. They, okay, hey, you know what? Long tail, man. They're going to get that money anyway. The only thing that, well, the thing is, okay, if you have the patience to wait it out a year, when the exclusivity deal comes off and then the game goes to Steam, when a game is a year old, typically it's at a 50% discount or something, right? Whenever after a year,
it's had all its bugs fixed. It's had some DLC.
Yeah. But when it comes off of exclusivity and it's like now available on Steam, do you treat it like day one full price because now it's here, right? If I was a developer, I would.
Or does the developer even choose to put it on Steam at all, though? Like that's the thing. People are like, and that's the point I was trying to make, though.
Oh, like you're nuts if you don't, because
no. Like let the developer choose where they want to sell, but don't as the store try and force it on the people. Look at what happened with the Metro game, where people had pre-ordered the shit out of it over on Steam, and then they're like, "Oh, nope, we're not going to be here anymore." Like that's super fucked up. Pardon my French, but like that's really jacked up. Now I know that people got money back, but like.
That was Metro's choice to do that.
No, I understand that. I get that. But like the problem is though is they didn't just decide to also sell on Epic. They had to sign an exclusivity deal and pull from Steam.
Yeah, like that's since people had already pre-ordered it there, anybody that already had money down on it got to keep their Steam key.
I actually have a more contentious example for y'all. Phoenix Point, that XCOM-like game coming out from Julian Gallup, the guy who made XCOM. It had a Fig campaign, if you recall. And part of the Fig campaign was you'd get the game on Steam. And then they announced Epic Store exclusivity. And people were
but here's
livid.
Kickstarter/Fig is funding, not a store. So you
haven't
agree. Paid for the game, so there's no legal binding. Right. So it's the thing, if you had money in the store as an actual legal pre-order, then they would have to honor it. But since not, and I put the onus for that shit on Julian, because he should have been a little more accommodating rather than just be like, well, you know what? We got all the money now, and we don't even need your funding money. So if you want your money back, here's your money, kiss my ass. Right. And it's like, that's not really the message I would send, but okay.
Yeah, it's sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I get that people that had already pre-ordered the Metro thing on Steam got to keep their Steam version. And I think that's cool that made it through. I just still think that exclusivity situation again just makes it it's not illegal, but man, it definitely feels shady.
So here's a question. What does it do to the pre-order market? Let's say Borderlands had come out for pre-order on Steam, and it's like, we're gonna go exclusive on the Epic Store. So if you want it on Steam, you got a 30-day window to pre-order that shit before we announce exclusivity.
That actually happened, I think, with I think that happened with Anno 1800, where they were like, "We're going to go exclusive. You have until the 15th of April to buy it on Steam."
Did it chill or heat their pre-orders? I wonder, because it's like, hey, if you want it on Steam, here's your chance. Don't bitch, because
I don't know.
So
I know a lot of people are playing Anno on Steam.
Yeah,
they pre-ordered
that's
it on
the thing,
Steam,
though, right? Is like these companies are especially the big publishers are all about pre-orders, right? Because that's how they determine like their financials and shit. They're like, hey, look at all these pre-orders, or oh, we're not getting enough pre-orders on Battlefield 5. Quick, lay everybody off, right? Like before the game even comes out. So it's like, yeah, they do a lot of voodoo based on pre-order numbers. So maybe somebody out there is going to say, you know, we can use this controversy to actually spike pre-orders to our benefit. Somebody will game this. Maybe they already did.
Yeah, but here's the weird thing. There are exclusives on other stores that have pre-orders like Battlefield 5 and whatnot on Origin or whatever. And it's like, does anyone really care if it's only on Origin? That's what I mean,
yes and no. Yes and no. And I will say this because a lot of times, even if it's just exclusive to one store and they have pre-order options, they do special things like if you pre-order it, you'll get this in the game or whatever. And what'll end up happening is like in 6 months they'll release it as like a DLC thing that you can add on.
Yeah, I guess. It's just, I'm wondering how. There's another game that just went Epic exclusive only. I can't remember what it is now. But
well, I'd have to go check my outrage channels. Oh wait, I unsubscribed. Like seriously, that's the only way I knew. Right? Is those channels that were all like super downers? Is just like that was my news. So it's just like, oh, the only news I get is shitty. So that's good for my mood.
Oh, the internet's crapping again.
Yeah, it's like there needs to be a channel that doesn't like kiss the ass of anybody, no matter how bad they are. But it's just like, you know what? If we don't like what you're doing, we just don't talk about you, right? Because like no press is death. So it's just like, you know, we don't have to stir up.
But people got to get those free games, man. You know, people got to get those keys. It's all about them keys.
Speaking of that, man, so that Velvet Rope shit, like you're sitting on like a bunch of keys, man. I haven't gotten anything free in a long time.
Not really. I'm not after the show. Not really. I'm not like getting like, keys thrown at me.
Look, you're our supplier, Brian. You're supposed to hook us up, man. We're itching.
I'm just gonna put it out there that you got a Rebel Galaxy Outlaw key.
I'm testing it. It's not like I just playing it.
You're testing it. I'm personally responsible for features in the last one. Like, bro,
sure.
The shortcut key for the ping on the map. Yeah, that's me. Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
So no, you don't have to tell me anything. It's me and Travis. We're gonna have a discussion about my contribution.
Okay.
I don't give a shit. I'm happy you got it, and it's kind of, I'm curious or whatever, but it's like I watched his stream videos, and it's like that's all I need to see, right?
Yeah.
It's like my curiosity is sated. Like I'm not like on fire. Like, oh God.
No, folks, if you love Privateer, it should be a day one purchase for you. You know, that's all.
Or in a year,
or a day 366 purchase. As
Furby in a day.
As Furby and Ace says in our chat, day 366. If you really have to get it on Steam. But I mean, they seem perfectly happy with being on Epic. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it'll do well.
You know, and that's the thing, though. Like I said in the beginning, I think it's great that we have choice. I think it's great that the developers can choose where they want to sell their stuff to. My issue is purely with Epic, more than anything. I think that them forcing the people who want to sell on their store to be exclusive with them for a period of time, I think is a very shitty practice. Because
you don't have to be exclusive to come on their store. There's plenty of games on there that have been on Steam for a long time. And, you know, like they're giving me Transistor this week.
I could buy No. I know it's not exclusive on their store. We're talking about new stuff. Like new things that are coming to their store are the things that are becoming exclusive. I know that there are things that have been out for a while that are on their store that aren't exclusive. Like I get. I'm talking about anything new that's been coming out is what's been like announced as the exclusive deal with them.
Yeah, I think that's only select things though. Like Shakedown Hawaii is brand new. It's up for pre-purchase, but you can still get that on Steam.
Wait, what is that?
Shakedown Hawaii.
What is that even?
Yeah, Hotline Miami Part 3.
Oh,
basically.
Oh, okay. I never played the second one. I should though, because it looks good.
I mean, there's stuff. Is Bloodlines 2 going to be exclusive? I don't know. Maybe. Division 2 is on here. Well, that's definitely not exclusive to Steam. Outward, that's brand new, not exclusive.
Well, Division 2 is not exclusive to Epic Store because they are also able to sell on Ubisoft's thing.
Yeah,
which again makes sense.
But I'm just saying, there's a handful of games that yes are exclusive, but there's also some games that are coming right out of the gate and they're here and Steam and whatever. So I'm just saying that to get in the platform, the deal of you have to like put their chastity belt on is not the deal, right? That's not like the only way in the door. So you can make the choice.
Man,
you just don't get that fat check.
It sure as hell seems like it. But here, you brought up an interesting game though with the Division 2 that is I think an amalgam, because it's one of the few that is being made by a developer that has their own store already. So it would be like out of the woodworks, Origin says, or EA says, hey, here's Mass Effect 4. We're going to sell it on our thing, but we're also going to go and sell it on Epic. And that's be like, man, that's a weird decision. That was kind of my reaction to the Division 2. Like, I can get, like, if they chose not to sell on Steam and just sell on their own platform. But for them to sell on their own platform and then go and sell it on Epic was just kind of like, woo, you're different.
So Ubi, a thing I have never got with them, right, is like if they were their own store, if it was Uplay only, then they'd be dead because nobody shops on Uplay. But for them to sell it on Steam and then it redeems in Uplay, and then so Steam launches Uplay launches the game. It's like, really? Why? Like, I don't ever interact with Uplay unless it's because I have to screw around with something with my account. You know, it's not synced up right or some shit. But I never see that thing other than when Steam triggers it to launch something. And it's just like, why do they even bother? You know, like what percentage of their sales, maybe in some other country or something, but I don't know what percentage of their sales actually comes native on that Uplay.
Here's the thought, and here's an interesting thought for you. What if Ubisoft's plan with them being able to sell in the Epic Store is to drive more sales on their own store and bring more attention to their own store? Because people might be outraged at the idea of having to go buy Division 2 on Epic, that they might just swerve and just go buy it direct from you.
Well, but you can buy it on Steam too.
Not the Division 2.
Really? That's
really. That's what I was trying to say.
That's
a
weird one.
Steam.
That's a weird one. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's weirder yet then. Because
that's what I was trying to say. Like, that's why it's so strange. It would be like, or like EA saying we're coming out with another Mass Effect and we're going to sell it on Origin, but we're also going to go sell it on this thing over here instead of like Steam or instead of this. Where like traditionally the Division and these Tom Clancy games have also been coming out on Steam. Now this time around, it's like we're going to sell it on our own store, but like we've normally been selling, but instead of selling on Steam, we're going to go sell it on Epic.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Well, yeah. So what's interesting about that though is if I'm looking at Division 2 and I look at Steam and it ain't there, and then I see it's on Epic, but then I have the option to just buy it straight from Ubi. Yeah, why would I involve Epic in this transaction? Right.
If I've already got Uplay installed, if I've already got Division 1 through Steam via Uplay anyway, it makes me kind of wonder if it is a way to potentially drive traffic straight to them.
Well, yeah, and that's I'm totally agreeing with you because it's the thing is like if I see it on Epic's store, I could just get it from Uplay. So now I'm going to be a direct customer. So yeah, maybe they're leveraging the people being offended. They're leveraging that. It's like, hey, free advertising. We don't care if you buy it there or not.
But you see, that's the thing though, because like I have had zero desire to buy anything from Epic Store, not because I'm trying to like be that shitty of a person. There's just nothing on their store that interests me. But like the Division 2 I am interested in, and when I saw that it was only on Uplay or on Epic, I was like, well, I've already got Uplay, I might as well just buy it there and keep everything together. Like, why do I need to involve another third store that's only going to launch Uplay again? I almost think this is like a genius move by them.
Yeah. I've only bought one thing on the Epic Store. I bought that Hades game, that ARPG made by the Bastion folks. It was fine. I mean, ran okay. I mean, there was no problem with the purchase. It was okay, I guess.
So there's another trend that I'm noticing here too, is when new things come out, because most things are full price, like $50-$60, right?
Yeah, like Bloodlines is pre-purchase $60.
Yeah.
Borderlands
Control
3
is
pre-purchase $60.
Outward is $40, right?
Sinking City. Oh, that's going to be on here? Oh crap.
Yeah, so it's like, then I see some stuff that's kind of like indie-ish, but they also come out with the balls like, we're $40, right? Like over on Steam, 15. But since they're in company of games that are full price, if you come out at $30, you're already 50% off compared to the neighbors surrounding you on the store. So why not, right? So that's kind of an interesting trend that I've seen, because it's that store is actually pushing prices up instead of down. It's kind of the opposite effect of Steam.
You know why I wish the Epic Store would have reviews? Because there's apparently a Roller Coaster Tycoon game on the Epic Store that was originally on the Switch, and I would love to know if that was good or not. Because
I've actually heard it was not.
Yeah, the
$30 you could find out.
The last the last Roller Coaster Tycoon game that Atari tried to make was terrible, apparently. So, why would I buy this for $30? That was originally a Switch game.
Yeah, so that's kind of in service to my point. How much was it on the Switch? I bet $30.
I can't imagine it was $30. Hang on. Do Switch games run that much?
Oh, yes. Switch games are full price $60 games sometimes.
Bro.
Holy crap, really?
You played Breath of the Wild?
I don't know how to Switch.
Doesn't matter.
You don't have to.
Just borrow one. Oh yeah, that too. You don't have to emulate /r/emulation.
It's $50 for the Switch.
Also, you could have gotten Breath of the Wild on Wii U. But anyway,
so $50 for Roller Coaster Tycoon Shady Adventures. That's not so
crappy adventures. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll just go play Parkitect. Thank you.
Questionable Coaster Tycoon.
You play Jurassic World Park Simulator.
No. Just go for broke. Get Parkosaurus, because
I heard that was really good. I heard Parkosaurus was really good.
Actually, I got bored super fast with the Jurassic Park official thing. It did not hold me.
It held my attention for a little bit, and then I got caught up in some other games, but they've released a lot of DLC.
Yeah,
Shut up, Jim.
Doesn't it have the same
Nobody
problem?
asked you.
Doesn't it have the same problem that Frontier's games other games has? It's pretty.
You mean like the Planet Coasters game?
Yeah, Planet Coaster. Oh, what a...
And that other game that they make.
That other one that is directly in our wheelhouse.
It's got a lot of planets. I can't remember.
I can't believe I bought a lifetime license for that thing.
Yeah, it's
what was I thinking?
Thing that I regret as well. Like,
yeah, what was I thinking?
There should be at this point a way to like get a refund on that, because
like, would I buy a lifetime license for Star Trek Online? Because they still sell those. I don't think I would. there's a lot of content there, but
if they said if you pay $100, you can just host your own fucking server. We don't care. Just give us $100. Do what you want. We don't care if we never see you again. Okay. Hey, speaking of City of Heroes, that's a thing.
Have you heard? There's Ship of Heroes coming out, which is a direct, almost descendant of City of Heroes.
What?
But it's called Ship of Heroes. It's being made by, I think, some people who worked on City of Heroes, plus some fans.
But it's on a boat or a spaceship?
It's on a giant spaceship that's so big it has a city inside it. Yeah.
So it's like Macross then. We're inside the SDF-1.
Sure.
It's Macross
yeah.
City.
You're on Discworld. Basically.
Oh my god! I just hope that we don't have to listen to that bitch sing because.
What? What? Who? Where?
Freaking.
That took me a second.
I clearly missed something. I clearly missed something.
Robotech, man.
That's a great, like, just subtle reference, Jim. Sorry.
There's some singing in There's singing in Robotech.
We'll send you a link later.
Somebody's never seen
Robotech. We'll send you a link.
Yeah. So basically, see, Lin Min-Mei defeats the entire Zentradi invasion force with the power of a love song.
Wait.
Exactly. It's terrible.
Wait.
It wasn't even good J-pop. It was bad.
Wait.
She sings, dude.
Brian's broken. Brian's broken.
Okay, so what this would be like is war breaks out with the Klingons. Tilly grabs a microphone and opens the hailing channel and just sings the entire Klingon armada into defeat.
I still need to see season 2 of Discovery. But
dude, I heard season 2 of Discovery ended bad.
I heard it basically erased everything from season 1 and 2. That's what I heard. Like seasons 1 and 2 don't matter at all. That's what I heard.
But it never did, really.
No, it never did. But
you know what? At the end of season 3, Riker's gonna wake up.
It's gonna be another It's a holodeck program again.
Oh no! He's gonna wake up in the Picard show. Yeah, it's gonna be.
Or Picard rolls out of bed and he's like, "Jesus Christ, what was that bullshit?"
That was a terrible dream.
That's how Picard could save it, man. One episode. We got Patrick Stewart for one episode. He's gonna fix.
That sounds terrible. That sounds really terrible. I hope the Orville gets a 3rd season. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I don't know how it couldn't.
I don't know.
Point, it's the only season 2 in town.
Season 2 didn't do as well in the ratings as season 1, apparently, which is a shame.
What?
Yeah, apparently
Come
it had.
On.
I'm not joking. Apparently, season 2 wasn't as good in ratings wise as season 1, which surprises me because I thought season 2 was a better season overall.
Well, now that season 2 of Discovery is out, I'm gonna do the free trial of the CBS thing just to watch it and see. But I heard the ending of that season was just like, what?
Yeah. I've heard the same thing, and I've heard from fans of the show who like the show, they're split on the ending. Apparently, like. So
it didn't have like a mic drop, like a double dick Klingon piece.
Apparently, I don't know if this is what actually happened.
That's how you go out, man. That's how you end a season. Is like,
I don't know if
Klingon's got 2 dicks. Good night.
Okay, I don't know if this is actually what happened, but I've been told.
Spoilers, potentially.
I've been told, and apparently the show isn't even clear on this, but someone who apparently knows told me they got thrust into the future like 950 years into the future, where there's no Federation, and it's like what? Okay,
it's the tombstone. It's the tombstone gift. Well, bye.
So apparently it's going to be like Voyager, apparently, where it's lost in space all over again.
Yeah. So what was the deal with Voyager at the end, right? Because they got back and it took like a bunch of years, and then like Tuvok had died from some kind of weird brain disease.
No. He didn't die.
I didn't watch.
Well, I don't know if we wanted to spoil Voyager for Brian.
It's a 20-year-old show. I don't care.
Okay, so I'm gonna watch it. Just like it is exactly the plot of the Avengers.
So okay, I was about to say, you watched the Red Letter Media review of Avengers, because they did the exact same thing. Mike goes on this whole tangent about how the final episode of Voyager is called Endgame, and the plot is so weirdly similar to the plot of Avengers Endgame that it's just like maybe the writers plagiarized Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, but there is no tardigrade in Endgame.
Well, there's no tardigrade in Voyager either, but still.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, while we're plagiarizing shit, I wonder if that lawsuit's come about yet.
I don't know.
The whole Voyager or Discovery versus the video game that is very tightly similar to season 1 of
I haven't
Voyager,
heard a thing about that since it was announced. Yeah, that was like a year or two ago.
It's bubbled
right?
up in my hate feed on YouTube a few times.
The hate feed. I try to avoid.
That's it,
feeds.
man. I'm gonna start my own channel called Game Hate. The YouTube channel. We hate games. That's what we do.
I'm sure there's I bet you there's a channel where they just play games that they hate. I wouldn't be surprised, because people seem to enjoy that.
It'd be like a Let's Play, but you call it a Let's Hate. It's like, let's hate Stardew Valley. Episode 6.
Oh, God. So, folks, the internet is really crapping out, so we're just going to start wrapping it up, because this is terrible. I don't know what's going on.
I'm just getting funny, man. We got
So it takes an hour and a half for you to get funny? Is that what?
Liquor doesn't hit me immediately.
It's like you're starting a car in Minnesota in the winter. You got to let it go for like a half an hour before you can actually go anywhere.
Yeah, I was thinking I have a corporate meeting that I have to be in Charlotte, so I'm going to be hanging out with Hunter for a week.
Fun!
But I was just thinking, like, I got a mostly empty bottle of Maker's Mark whiskey here. Oh. I could like just pour that into something else, and then I could put iced tea in my Maker's Mark thing, and then while I'm sitting in the meeting, just like reach in my laptop bag and pull out a whiskey bottle and just like chug it.
Do you like your job? I mean,
just put like a whole bunch of Arnold Palmer in there or some shit.
Yeah. No, it'd just be like totally no alcohol, right? Just iced tea, but just the gesture of just like mid political meeting, just like start chugging off a whiskey,
and just like look over to somebody next to you and be like, "Hey, you want some?"
It's like, well, what are your thoughts on the new policy? Fuck it, chug chug.
It's stupid.
I won't remember it tomorrow.
I got your synergy right here, asshole. Anyway. I fucking hate business speak. Anyway, just a quick... See, I can't even talk anymore.
Quick that. Yep.
Yeah, programming notes. Thursday on the LAN party, we're going to be playing Pulsar Lost Colony. That's had a lot of updates since we last played it, so that'll be fun to return to. And Friday, we're doing a charity stream in conjunction. If there's a curator called Sentinels of the Store, y'all, and they're really great. They call out bad developers. They call out people who make asset flips and sell them for $1 and stuff like that. It's a really great curator and Steam group. And they're running a series of charity streams for able gamers.
Nice.
I thought it was going to raise money in the fight against game cancer. To just like clean all the hentai right off of Steam.
No. Able Gamers is actually legit. They're an actual good charity. So I'm doing 2 streams for them. The first one is on Friday, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to be playing Spaceborne, which, if you're not aware, is a really great early access game that's been just every update, they're like, we've added a dynamic economy. We've added, player-made missions. Like, holy crap, they're adding a lot. It's going to be like the game that outs Star Citizen. It's really going to be that. Because it's got walking around and all that stuff people want. So I'm playing that this Friday, and because I wanted to play a game I like. And then next Friday, I'm going to be playing a game I hate called Dark-Light Conflict that came out in the late 90s.
That's the best game.
It's a terrible game. It's got no plot.
Oh wait, no, it's that game. Never mind. I got it confused.
It looks pretty.
Correct.
Oh, it's awful. It's so awful. So I'm going to be streaming that next Friday. So I'm doing a game I like and a game I don't. So that'll be fun. So that's what's coming up. And then next week, we're doing a morning podcast, 6 a.m. Pacific time. Because Iceberg, I think, asked, why do I want to punish myself? Because it's entertaining for other people. I mean, that's really the only reason. Next week on the podcast, we're doing a morning show, 6 a.m. Pacific time, because our guests are in
at least you're honest about it.
Yeah. I mean, other people find it entertaining. That's the only reason, Why else would I waste my time playing something awful? Next week, we're going to be talking to the folks who make Landinar Into the Void, because that comes out of early access tomorrow, May 1st, May Day. That's hitting 1.0 tomorrow. We're very excited because that's a great game. If you haven't played it,
I need to dip into that again. Like, have you kept up with it? Because it's been.
I've kept up with the updates, but I try with an early access game. I try not to play it too much. Because one, they change a lot usually between early access and release, and I don't want to get burnt out on a game that's going to change. And two, I like to be surprised.
Yeah, because I liked it. It was kind of like, what if FTL got together with Baldur's Gate and maybe
like, oh god, I'm in the middle of a battle and my gun went down. I have to get out of the pilot's chair and fix the gun really fast.
Yeah, and
run
it's
away.
A smooth transition between being outside the ship, flying at asteroid style.
Oh god,
zoom into
so
the ship,
smooth.
jump out of the chair and run around and put fire.
Yeah,
totes.
Iceberg. It's called Landinar Into the Void, Landinar, and it comes out of early access tomorrow. It's made by Convoy Games. They're the same folks who made that game called, funnily enough, Convoy, which was kind of another FTL.
You hear me over there, rubber ducky?
Is it a great big convoy?
We got ourselves a convoy. Pigpen, this is a rubber duck.
That's a thought. Convoy. Like we could actually have
a
space game that is a sly retelling of Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, that'd be great.
I would play
great.
It would have to be a co-op game where you have at least one person as Smokey and one person as the Bandit, and then if you want, you can add a third person who drives the truck.
Yes,
the Bandit is trying to keep the
Smokey and the Bandit is basically an escort quest.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Did you know there are 7 of those movies? Did you know that?
Oh my god, no,
yeah.
I did not.
I was in Target the other day, and it's like the Smokey and the Bandit collection. I'm like, what?
Holy shit, were Bert and Sally in all of them, or
no, they were only in the first 2, and then if you recall, the third movie had the other guy pretending to be the Bandit, and then the other movies are about.
I ever went past 2.
Oh, yeah, don't. And then the other movies, apparently, I haven't watched them yet, but the other movies, apparently, because I bought it, clearly, the other 4 movies are about the Bandit's son. Apparently, they were all TV movies, like in the 90s. And one is...
And then he... You know what would be really cool is if it turned out that Bandit's son was actually Stringfellow Hawk, who flew Airwolf. No. And then they could
all together, man.
Up with a neat little... Yeah, totally. And
then his son,
A-Team and Airwolf crossing.
And then his son went on to command Megaforce. That's what happened with that.
Yes.
Tie all that shit together.
That's what they need. They need to get the damn
Avengers Endgame. No, this is the ultimate crossover.
Yeah, screw that. Screw the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We need the bad '80s cinematic universe. Put in Daryl in there somewhere.
Yeah, totally.
Cloak and Dagger.
All those guys die off. We need to get A-Team, Knight Rider, and Airwolf as a crossover. Well, is Jan Michael Vincent? I think he passed away.
He did pass away recently. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't doing well.
All right, that's
yeah, he wasn't doing well
because he's gone and Ernest Borgnine's gone.
Yeah, they're long. He's long gone, Ernest Borgnine. Yeah, sadly.
Have you ever seen Laser Mission?
No, I have not. But what I was going to tell you is
favorite.
What I was going to tell you is one of the Bandit movies is called, and this is an actual title.
And there he is, right outside your door.
This is the actual title. Bandit, Bandit, Bandit. That's the title.
Bandit.
That's the title of, I believe.
Tora.
I don't know. It's the title of the fifth or the. It's the title of the fifth or sixth movie in the series. I can't remember offhand.
Well, they could have a movie with Bruce Willis, and they would call it The Fifth Bandit. And about
Die
love.
Bandit.
And Lin Min-mei stops the invasion with J-Pops.
Oh, we should. That should be another topic. We take movies that aren't space movies and turn them into space movies. Like that'd be a fun.
We spaced that shit.
Next time we do a topic show, that's what we're doing. Like Smokey and the Bandit in space. How would that look? That'd be fun. I think it's a great idea.
Bill and Ted's bogus interplanetary.
Hey, they're doing a third one.
Supposedly?
They've announced it. They said it's happening. Well, they did an announcement at the Hollywood Bowl.
They announced it, but
it's happening next year.
Nothing since then.
No, they had an announcement like a month ago. Like the two leads were at the Hollywood Bowl. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter were at the Hollywood Bowl, saying it's happening next year.
I saw the picture.
It's coming out next year.
You know what I would pay real money for at this point? I want
Megaforce
another
2?
Machete movie. I want another Machete.
I never saw Machete Kills. I never saw it. Was it good?
Was it good? But Machete 3 is Machete in space.
Oh.
And that's what we need
there. I love the first Machete.
The trailer for whatever reason, for Machete in space is at the end of Machete 2. And
wait, really?
It's beautiful.
Is it? Yes. Is it? Oh God! Oh no! It still hasn't happened.
No, it probably never will happen. It's that Robert Rodriguez. It's like how Machete even happened. It was a fake ass trailer.
Yeah, everyone loved it.
And then people were like, "You better make that shit." And so that's where I'm at for Machete in space.
So Danny Trejo has a taco restaurant here in LA that I should go visit, and if he's there, I'll ask him about it.
Yes, do.
But
I will buy your tacos.
Apparently, he also has excellent tacos. So I really need to make a trip up there. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for listening to this rambling thing. We seem to have stabilized the internet a bit. Turning down the bitrate seems to have helped. Sorry about all the technical issues earlier. We were having some real problems.
It's like internet's fixed. Bye.
So yeah, I'm going to do a couple of test streams before Thursday. So you don't have to watch them. I'm just going to I'll probably play like One Finger Death Punch 2 later today just to do a test. Because that game's amazing. So anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. And if you're a Patreon supporter, thank you for supporting. Again, we have some new tiers. If you want to actually directly affect the content of Space Game Junkie, there are tiers for that now. So
check out our merch store. Merch.
We don't have t-shirt cannons, sadly, but we do have t-shirts.
You know how much a t-shirt gun costs?
I'm sure they're expensive. I'm sure they're expensive. They're like, can you imagine putting something more than a t-shirt in there? You would kill someone. Those things are serious. I'm surprised there hasn't been a murder mystery show where it's like someone, instead of putting a t-shirt in there, put like a brick and shot that into somebody and killed him. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet.
So they are available from tshirtgun.com.
Oh God, of course
I'm not shitting you.
Uh-huh.
Buy now online.
How much?
I'm looking. All right, tshirtgunstore.com is where it took me to after that.
I hate when they split domains. I hate when they split domains like that. I hate when they split domains.
I need a t-shirt cannon. All right. So the Bleacher Reacher Pro is $1,639.
$1,600.
Mega Buster, $2,039.
I love these names.
Holy shit! What? They have a T-shirt Gatling gun. It's $4,000.
I've seen those.
Gatling gun 2.0, $54.99. I'm gonna put a picture of this bitch in the chat.
And on that note, folks, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much again for watching and listening, and we will see you next time. Have a great night, y'all. Bye-bye.